Hi there, friends. I'm Scott Wakefield, lead pastor at First Christian Church of Greene County, and I am here today with...
I'm Simon.
Ainsley.
Alden.
I'm Seth.
And we're going to have a...
Coffee Convo.
Coffee Convos is an opportunity to hear about the work of God in the lives of our friends. And so we have some high school seniors here today. Congratulations, you all qualify as friends. And so we're going to hear about what it's like to be a Christian as a teenager today, and what you're looking forward to, and what are some next steps in life, and what you've learned, and how awesome your experience at First Christian has been, especially with the preaching on Sunday mornings and things like that. So tell us a little bit about who you are and all that good stuff.
So I have always been going to church. My parents have always been very available for me, and I really started to take off in my relationship with Christ when I came into 180. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really helped me grow. Cool. And it's been a huge part of my life so far.
Love that. That's true. He's not making that up for the cameras, y'all. How about you, Ainsley? Who are you?
Yeah, I have always grown up in the church.
Yeah.
My dad has always worked in the church, so it's practically been my second home.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I came to First Christian in about 5th grade that I really began to grow in my own faith instead of my parents' faith.
Yeah.
And
it became your own more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And 180 has definitely helped a lot with that. I've been a part of the student leadership team since freshman year, and that's definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone, but in a really good way that's helped me strengthen my faith.
Very well said. Thank you for bringing up the SLT, which we will talk about soon enough. Who are you, young man?
Hi, I'm Alden, Wakefield.
He's like, let me add the last name just so you all are sure to know why my dad's being so weird.
Yes, my dad. I have a very similar story to Ainsley here. Growing up in the church, obviously this church for my whole life. So I've been in youth since 6th grade here, and I've seen a lot of change in youth group here. We were talking earlier. We had 4 or 5 different leaders since my time here. And so I've grown through that. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for sharing, Alden. How about you, Seth?
Well, much like everyone else here, I've kind of grown up in the church.
Yeah.
It hasn't started at First Christian. I actually just recently came here in the past year over the summer and really got connected with the student group here, the student ministry. And that's really given me a good community of Christian friends and a family almost, and that's really impacted me and really helped me grow.
Yeah, good stuff. Before we get to youth group, y'all growing as Christians, yada yada. Traditional curly or waffle fries, and why?
I say curly.
Why?
More surface area to get crispy. Well, waffle fries do have surface area, but I don't know. I like the curly.
So more crispiness is part of your thing?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Anybody want to rebut that?
I would say waffle, but only because of Chick-fil-A.
What do you mean only because of Chick-fil-A? Just because it's Chick-fil-A or because it's good?
Because it's Chick-fil-A, and they have good fries.
It's Jesus' waffle fries.
It's the Lord's chicken and Jesus' fries.
Amen.
Okay, all right. So Pals isn't like in the conversation for any of y'all?
Pals is top.
Pals is good.
Above all else,
Really?
I think. It's seasoning. It's the seasoning.
Do you?
Yeah.
I often will ask for like light seasoning on the Pals fries.
Gets to be
almost
too
too
much.
much for me.
I have to add more.
Well, and then
I
you're
like it.
Oh my!
Your
What does that say about you, Ainsley? More seasoning?
It's just good.
Well, your hands get all messy from the pal seasoning on.
Well, it's
Inconvenient.
There are
It's dry.
napkins.
I mean, it's not like it sticks. You just, and it's gone.
There are napkins in your bag for a reason.
I like that we began to fight about fries just a little bit. I like that. It's good. So we have some questions that were handed to us, written on this list that I have before me, from some of our staff, most of whom you know, that are ridiculous. Things like, if bananas forever had to be a different color, what color should they be?
Purple.
Why?
Hot pink.
Just
Because it's so out of the norm. Like, why would a purple banana? Like,
let's start a thing. Purple bananas.
I want to see someone just straight-faced eat a hot pink banana. I think that'd be great.
I think that's what Tyson would want, because I'm pretty sure that that has to be a Tyson question. I may be wrong. If you were forced to have a llama, what would its name be?
La Shama Llama. No further questions.
Yeah, let's not. We're done with that one. What's something you're really good at or know a lot about that might surprise people? Or like a something about you they may not know?
I do CrossFit.
I was going to say, I felt like Simon had a thing. I saw it in your eyes. Yeah?
I did.
Okay, cool.
Who knew?
So are you like a cultic CrossFitter?
Yes.
Is that pretty much a given if you're a CrossFitter?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage.
You're like, yeah, it is. Cool. All right. So you could probably beat me up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I actually believe that's true. All right, somebody else. Come on. Something interesting, or something you can do, or something you know a lot about. Something that we may not, that the world out there may not know about you. That might be interesting. We'll sit in the awkward silence until we get something.
I can't think of anything.
Nothing. Nothing interesting about you.
Well, I mean,
Is this an awkward silence off? Like we're playing chicken?
I play soccer, but everyone knows that.
Everybody knows.
You've taken up carving, and you're pretty good at carving things. That's a good one.
True story.
I like wood carving. It's fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. What's something you're interested in that may not be something everybody's interested in? Something you know how to do that's unique, like make donuts.
I don't know how to make donuts.
Oh, you know how to sell donuts.
I know how to sell donuts.
That's
Hey,
very.
not everyone knows how to sell donuts.
That's very different. Well, that's true.
Well, I mean, you don't have to try very hard to sell donuts.
It depends on the donut.
I would always
Don't.
So maybe she's good at it because the donuts she sells
Are
sell
so
themselves. It's an important point. Come on, Seth.
I'm working on it here.
I'm working on it.
He's a contractor. He knows how to do a million things.
That is kind of true. I do a lot of construction, and so
How many high school seniors do a lot of construction and
that's
know
fair.
those things?
That's fair. There's
For
not
real.
many.
Me.
You could probably out-construct me.
I climb in a lot of attics. That is my top industry, is crawling around in tiny attics.
Yeah, you definitely win. And as soon as you said that, and as soon as I said you could probably out-construct me, Alden's like, yeah. You can replay that back. Hit the back 30 seconds button and hit it. Yeah. All right. Scariest thing you've ever done?
Probably related to my construction is working on roofs as they're not finished, because they sway and they don't stop swaying, and I have a slight fear of heights, so
Yeah.
I'll say one time I was riding a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And I turned too quickly, and I flipped on my back. And in that moment, I definitely thought I was going to be critically injured or die or something. That was a scary moment. I was fine, but it was scary.
As your father, I should know when this was.
It was over the summer.
Does your mom also not know about this?
No, she knows about it.
you just kept out of the loop.
Apparently.
And now you know.
And now I know. Wow.
Mine probably also involves a four-wheeler.
Do your parents know about it?
Yes.
Oh.
I was like 8 or maybe 7, 8. And my uncle was driving. And you would not think this of him now. When he had kids, I think his wife had a good coming to Jesus talk and calmed him down. But he would whip us around on a four-wheeler. He flipped it.
Uh-huh.
But as it was like flipping over, he reached behind, grabbed my shirt, pulled me in front, like rolled us off the four-wheeler. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
I was like, we're going a good 30 mile an hour. That was pretty scary.
So the moral of the story is his kids are alive because you almost died.
Yes.
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 Gotcha. Okay.
Well, I've actually got another point to that, which I remember the thing that I was trying to think of for the thing I have interest in that people wouldn't know about is caves.
Yes.
So
I thought of that earlier.
yeah, I couldn't think of it in the moment, but
Alden the Spelunker.
yeah, me and Simon were in a cave once, and I was sure that we were not going to find our way out.
I've been in a couple places in caves where I thought, now I don't think I'm going to like die here, but you could imagine this is where people die.
Right. Or, I mean, if your headlight goes out, bam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you just take out your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a unique thing. How many caves are in Greene County, Alden?
I think there are 200 documented caves.
Would we have a good estimate for how many undocumented there would be based on documented, given your knowledge of caves elsewhere?
One thing I've read is that
Just wondering.
the documented caves in the world number probably 10% of the actual caves. But a lot of those are inaccessible, so.
So it's like the universe beyond what we can see and the sea below. We know very little,
Yeah.
as it turns out.
Freaky.
It is freaky. Do caves have weird, ugly, monster-looking animals like the depths of the ocean that freak me out?
Well, they have fish and salamanders that, adapt to being in the dark so much that they don't have eyes anymore.
Yeah,
That's weird.
I've seen those.
Yeah.
That's a no for me. I'm done with caving.
I mean, they're pretty cute.
Cute?
Yeah. Like, you find axolotls in caves,
You find
depending
what?
on where you are. Axolotls.
Those are interesting little things.
And they're kind of cute.
Axolotl. Look it up.
It's like a fish and a salamander together.
Oh, okay.
With a little crown head
Yeah,
thing.
it's got a little
Yeah.
crown head. It's got little.
They're cute.
It's pink, isn't it?
Okay.
They can be different colors. You can have they can be basically any color.
Wow.
That's
Okay.
cool.
All right, things I'm learning. So let's transition to youth ministry, church, being a Christian, SLT. What's SLT? Fill in the peeps.
Student leadership team.
Okay. What's it involve? What
It
do you do? What do you
is
learn?
A group of high
Yeah.
schools,
High schoolers.
students, not seniors. And basically, we get a glimpse into what it is to lead youth group. So throughout the school year, we'll do the welcome, set the tone, and greeting.
Mm-hmm.
But during the summer, we completely take over and plan everything.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing the adults do is drive the van to and from the houses. So we plan out all the talks, where we're going to be, what we're going to do, what we're going to eat,
Mhm.
everything.
Cool. So you help do a lot of planning and execution of events throughout the year, especially the summer. What else is involved in SLT, and what do you talk about, and what do you learn about, and things like that?
We have regular meetings. I want to say once a month, but we didn't have one this month. So we have meetings with our youth director and our small group leaders. They all come.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about, things we're doing right, things we're doing wrong, what we could do better, what's working, how we can adapt to having higher numbers in youth, because that's been a big thing, is that we're, growing the past 2 years, I'll say, a year maybe.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot more people come.
So how do you manage the more
Right.
kids come in, and
Right.
and how to minister to them well, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Feedback from students to the adults,
Mm-hmm.
I assume, is a piece of all that.
Yeah.
What have you learned about? What have you learned about being an adult and leadership and life beyond high school by being a part of the student leadership team?
I feel like it's given a good glimpse of what it takes to, kind of like Ainsley said, lead a ministry, kind of be a part of pursuing a body of Christ and encouraging them and trying to lift them up.
Yeah.
I think it really gives you a glimpse into what it means to work for the church.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just limited to a church, because you're always in a ministry. Whatever
Yeah.
you do, there's always an opportunity to lead others
Mhm.
and to help others. And
So, as they were saying, being involved in that program is a piece of understanding larger mission beyond that.
I'd say it gives you more of an insight on real world application on, how can I help others be turned to Christ? Or
Yeah,
how
yeah.
can I help others get plugged into a church?
Yeah, good stuff.
I'll say my main takeaway from it is that something as seemingly easy as a Wednesday night youth group from 6 to 8:30 does not happen on its own.
No, it doesn't just organically, spontaneously combust and happen.
Right.
Huh. Yeah.
A lot of planning, a lot of thinking, a lot of praying that goes on mostly behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it not only gives you the means to carry out Christ's plan in the world, but the courage to do so. I will say, for me as an introvert, if you had told me freshman year that I'd be right here doing this, I'd probably freak out. But through SLT...
No, I can attest to that. You would have. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
But through SLT,
Right,
through it
yeah.
pushing me out of my comfort zone, it showed me that there are things that I can do that
Right.
I never thought it'd be possible.
Because it puts you in
to
those
do.
places to do them and have to lead, and yeah, it's good. Good stuff. I think it's cool how part of our vision for having a student leadership team is that it integrates you into leadership, not just in the body, of course, but into understanding, as you all were saying, what's involved in it, how to get the real world experience of leading beyond just yourself. Yeah. Any other cool lessons worth sharing about SLT?
I think it really helps kind of teach me how important community is. That it is important to have people, a team around that helps you accomplish goals, that help you create friends that'll hold you accountable. It's been a really good lesson for me about community.
Yeah. Anything in particular that makes you say that? That was helpful in some practical ways for you?
It's definitely helped me grow in my walk with Christ because I've had people around me that I know, hey, I can tell this person, hey, hold me accountable to XYZ. Or, hey, we need to accomplish this to help the night go more smoothly. Or, hey, would this be, should we do this? Maybe people would enjoy that. It always helps with youth and personally.
Yeah.
It's always helpful to have a community of people.
Good stuff. What are some of the harder things about being a Christian as a teenager that someone like me, who's almost 50 years old, may not realize about being a teenager nowadays, or might be different than when I was, or challenges you've faced in being a Christian nowadays?
I'll say that different from your world of being a teenager.
Okay.
Well,
that's an assumption, but no, I'm just kidding. I put it in the question. I'm kidding.
Right. Is how...
And I'm only picking on you because you're older. Go ahead.
How connected teens seem through, Snapchat or whatever on their phones. And so having to combat that is different because, if you're not engaged in that, then it feels like you're isolated from everyone. And so you have to be intentional about finding a community of believers.
Yeah. And I think the being connected with everyone, as you said it, is less connected with anyone than it seems.
Right.
So the community piece is more of a challenge in a way. I've thought about that, how nowadays having a phone and being sort of fake connected in that way, and yet kind of knowing a lot about a lot of people, but it's only superficial, is different than not having that access to everyone all the time. That wasn't really very much access. I know I'm kind of going in loops, but my point is, I think that I was a teenager in a time where, like, you just had people. I mean, like, I carried, well, at first it was a dime, but then it became a quarter, in my sock that my mom made me carry around in case I needed to make a phone call home. But other than that, it was like you just had people.
I think what that's kind of turned into, like the pseudo community, is no one really, in our kind of age range, I feel like no one really strives to find a community because they feel they already have one among this, this superficial knowledge of others that they don't really need to find a better community. And that,
I feel like I've noticed younger folks nowadays, and not just your age, but even, 10, 15 years older, being more intentional about finding community than I ever thought about or talked about at your age. Like the way you guys just said that, totally different than I used to think about it. Yeah. Cool. Why do you think that's good?
I was gonna say it goes along with the point I made earlier, is that like it won't come to you. You have to work towards finding that.
What are the ramifications of pseudo community, which is a good way to say that, I think, for youth that you see happening?
Well, I'll say, you hear about this generation, you hear about how connected we are, how digital we are, but there's also a lot of stress about mental health and, how we're feeling and suicide rates and all those things, but
which have increased quite a bit in the last...
Especially for the younger crowd.
Yeah.
And I think that is connected to that because, without... You don't feel connected in order to... Like Simon said, that he feels that community helps him grow in his walk. If you don't have that community, you don't have anyone to lean on. You have, like we said, pseudo community. You have fake friends, but it doesn't seem like you have any real help out there.
Right. So it's ironically more isolating than it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think folks your age are feeling that isolation?
Yes.
The last two questions I've asked,
Definitely.
all four of you have been like...
I mean, they might not show it, but I think in some way everyone feels this loneliness, like that they can't cover with anything they do.
Yeah, it's good. So, COVID. Do you feel that COVID changed things, changed church, changed education, changed school, the way you see the world?
Yes.
How so?
Well, I'll say for school, definitely, it changed a lot because just the way we learned, and I felt the whole time that I did not learn well online, and I didn't...
That's generally what I heard from most.
I didn't
folks.
learn as well going 2 days a week or going 3 days a week or something like that. The compromises that we had to make.
Yeah.
So, there's studies about how this generation who was during COVID is not as learned as previous, who weren't
especially some of the younger kids are falling a little more behind.
Right, developmentally.
Yeah.
So, and that also ties into the whole isolation thing.
I was going to say, it sounds like we're talking about the same kind of problem in its own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what would you tell younger high schoolers or middle schoolers, or looking back as seniors who are thinking about moving forward, what's happening next? What's some advice you'd give to younger youth?
For me, what helped me most, because when I was younger, I struggled with those feelings of loneliness, like everyone does.
Yeah.
But what helped me is that regularly going to my small group. My small group is where I made my closest friends, and it's where I found a community of believers that were there for me.
Yeah.
That checked up on me.
Cool.
And
so what's a small group?
Small group it's a group of your own gender and age that you talk about life and discuss the sermon that was talked about on Wednesday.
Yeah. How much time do y'all spend in small groups generally?
About
45 to an hour, but 12th grade girls.
Not 12th grade girls. I just meant, that's why I said generally. I know the 12th grade girls are like 60 minutes every time. They're the last ones in to the 45-ish minutes at least, right? Mm-hmm. And that's every Wednesday during 180 as a part of, as you said, like applying the sermon, talking about our own stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. So your advice is don't miss small group. Keep at it. Mm-hmm. That's where those community relationships will develop.
Don't just show up and sit there because just being there isn't enough. You have to connect. Otherwise, you won't fully get anything.
I think the version of that for guys is don't goof off.
Well said. Yeah. That's it. Let's just go, don't goof off.
Right.
Okay. All right. Show up, don't goof off.
You have a fun time, and it's great to be with friends, and it's
Sure.
great to have fun, and it's good to laugh with each other. Those things are all good, but you leave with a sense of, man, I should have focused. I should have paid more attention. I should have.
Yeah.
There could have been more.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. Advice I would give is to be intentional. Be intentional in making those friends that are going to hold you accountable. Be intentional in sharing in small group. Be vulnerable. The people in your small group, they aren't there to get everyone's secrets and go tell them to everyone and start gossip. They're there because you're all there to love Christ and to help one another and grow. It's not someone's going in there to figure out everyone's bad stuff and then go tell everyone about it. It's share what's going on in your life, talk about it.
And if they do that, we will confront them, hopefully. Yeah, right. Good stuff.
For me, I mean,
All three of them had, and Seth was like, so I guess I'm supposed to talk now?
well, the thing is, it kind of falls under the same thing. It's just finding, kind of with small groups and kind of with, community, is just find people that you can connect with within the church that can help you grow in an upwards direction. Because, I mean, you want to surround yourself by helpful Christian people and growing Christian people, because you can surround yourself by friends, but that's not going to always help you if they're the wrong types of friends. So making an effort to seek out the ones that you can help and that can help you, that mutually you can grow together, is probably my biggest.
Cool. Mutual growth. Why don't you, for us at First Christian, serving is a big deal. It happens on Wednesday nights, happens on Sundays, happens for some throughout the week. You all are coming for student leadership team on Sunday afternoons. So we've also already talked some about that with SLT, but what are some ways that you've served and learned about how God has gifted you to help others and to give you a sense of meaning and satisfaction in serving? I know I said a lot of words, but let's talk about serving.
I'm big on childcare. I like working with kids. I did toddlers and nursery in that age for a long time. Well, not so much nursery, but toddlers and preschool. That's what I was looking for. Did that age for a long time. But I've also done elementary school, and I like serving in kids ministry.
Cool.
I enjoy music, the music side of it, playing on Sunday mornings, on Wednesday nights. I enjoy music, and I also enjoy getting to know people and just trying to have one-on-one conversations to help people. I enjoy watching others succeed. So
cool.
Yeah.
Tech, kids.
Yeah, I mean, I've
What?
served in practically every group here. I was here when we still did the little magnet name cards on the guest team.
Yes.
That was a long time ago. But, I mean...
So long ago. At least like 4 years.
But in the end, I mean, it was just clear that God was directing me to kids. I never felt more comfortable than when I was in a kids classroom.
Yeah.
And it's actually influenced me for the rest of my life. I mean, I'm going to college for early childhood education.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I would have known about or thought about if it wasn't for Kidsmen here
So a
at
piece of
church.
your future thinking and vocation and vision for yourself was being a part of the body and serving. Yeah. Cool. Good stuff, y'all. What gives you most hope for the future? And what gives you the most anxiety?
My hope and the most anxiety are kind of the same, kind of go hand in hand.
Okay.
What gives me hope is the people around me that I know I can count on, and that I know these people are going to help me pursue Christ in a manner that is going to help me grow, obviously. And also going into college, people are going to be going different places.
Yeah.
Like Alden's going to be at Wheaton.
Right.
I mean, Seth will still be, he'll be at ETSU. So like, that's not too far. And like, so that I'll have people around, but that's also what, because like as my friends kind of go away and I don't feel like I have that much connection and accountability with them, am I going to start to fail in certain areas?
And what's going to happen to those relationships, and how's life going to change? And because you started by talking about a sense of rootedness of your place in the world here, that you all obviously experience. Your families are here. You grew up here. Yeah.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
is going to change some things.
For 7 years, we've spent every week with these people. We've grown these relationships, and you know it's been good. But we have seen each other every week, and now that we're going our own separate directions, what's going to happen to those relationships when we're not so
already
together?
Naturally together? Yeah.
Well, one thing for me that I think about when I think about those things, because that does, you know, make you wonder, is all my friends going to leave me, or am I going to come back, you know, winter break from college and, you know, they're not going to like me or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably there. They're all going to get together and be like, when Alden gets here for winter break.
Awesome. But you think about the one relationship that will never, you know, that will never leave you, which is Christ.
Something that's helped me with anxiety about what am I going to do when all my friends go elsewhere and I'm here by myself is God's got a plan, and he's going to provide friends wherever you go that will help you grow. And whether it's a miserable situation or a really wonderful situation in your eyes, it's all for the glory of God. And
you can trust that.
And that's been a huge comfort for me.
Yeah, cool. Any other thoughts?
Those types of things always make me think of Jeremiah 29:11. It was part of, I memorized it when I was very young. The movie Soul Surfer, if anyone remembers that. That was a verse they referenced in the very beginning.
One-armed surfer? Yeah.
But anyway, so the verse, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. And like those kind of situations like Seth was talking about, I look to like that verse and it kind of gives me hope knowing that God does have me. He's in control.
Yeah.
He has a plan to grow me and to lead me to a future that is going down the right path.
Yeah.
That he'll protect me.
And it will be hard, as Seth said. And I'm not saying you're not saying that, but that's why you need to have that hope and trust, because you know that's going to not always be easy.
Might get your arm cut off by a shark.
Good application of the movie. Thank you.
How is a shark going to cut off your arm? Like, it's just going to get its fins and, like, grab a knife and eat your arm. Can't really, like, cut it.
I was like, let's move on.
Sorry.
I'm kidding.
Let's see. In your experience, we talked a little bit about this with SLT. In your experience, what makes for a good leader? And who have been some people in your life who has been a leader for you and someone who has been a model for you and helped you grow to continue to become who God made you to be?
I will say my biggest revelation, I guess you'll say, or the thing that I noticed the most about leaders is vulnerability. And
Sure.
I've had a lot of leaders, mentors in the past, but my small group leader for a time, like 8th, 9th grade, was Gabe Fuller. He was big about vulnerability.
Cool. Right. Good application of the team code at First Christian Church. Number 4, we lead with vulnerability.
My biggest two would have to be accountability and love. I've had a lot of small group leaders throughout the years. But the one who has made the biggest impact on me has to be the one I have right now, who is Leslie Staggs. And it's just, she came in that first week and just poured out this love for us. I mean, she was there 1 week, and the next week was my birthday, and she had already planned a celebration for me.
She's a gift giver.
Yeah.
She's thoughtful about that
She's
stuff.
amazing.
Yeah.
And
And so
just-
she kept coming and...
Yeah, and just in this
Right.
time where I didn't know who was going to be my small group leader next, just to have her show up,
Yeah.
dependable, like week after week, and
Yeah.
just keep being there. It's
Cool.
really made a big impact on my life.
Yeah. That's team code number, Everyday Boring Faithfulness. Actually, that might be number 4. Anyway. Yes.
For me, the biggest thing I see in a lot of the good leaders is selflessness,
Okay.
is serve others.
You mentioned that earlier about thinking about the success of others.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. How have you seen that, and what's been helpful for you in receiving some of that and showing that to others?
I've seen a great deal of it when I first came to the 180 ministry here at First Christian.
Cool.
Just walking the doors, it felt like a family welcoming you in. Like
Yeah.
everyone went out of their way to greet you, went out of their way to see how you were doing. And just being on the receiving end of that, why would you do that for me, was just eye-opening to this is how I need to be.
Cool.
This is more Christ-like than what I've seen elsewhere. And
Yeah, which wraps up a number of thoughts we've had about being intentional, needing community, being in it for the sake of others, which I think is how God designed us to grow. Good stuff. So, got a few more minutes. What have you learned from your parents?
Nothing.
Nothing I'll say out loud in public. What have you learned from your parents?
I think my dad has always been very emotionally available,
Cool. Yeah.
and he's always shown his emotions in front of us, and never like tried to hide it and be like, "Oh, you have to be manly and never cry and this, and this." I think that's what I've learned. I can show my emotions, and they're not a bad thing. God gave them to us for a reason.
Mhm.
We're supposed to. There are times when we're supposed to cry.
Mhm.
There's a time to mourn. There's a time to dance.
Yeah.
There's a time to have all these emotions.
This is not a time to dance.
I was
No.
gonna
Thank you
say,
for,
right now.
yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, good. Anybody else?
what I've learned largely from my dad is that like through construction, I started out knowing nothing, and to learn stuff, you have to fail. And getting out of your comfort zone, wherever that applies,
Yeah.
it's important to get out of your comfort zone to be able to progress and learn, because no one starts out knowing everything. And so just realizing that
No one dies
fail.
knowing everything, just for the record. We adults are not as up there as you think we might be. Or
But-
as we think we Yeah.
But just, realizing that I'm going to fail, and that's okay, because that's how I'm going to grow and not fail later on.
Right.
So that's been
Giving yourself room.
a big struggle
For that?
is giving room, but that's something that my dad's kind of helped me through working to realize that no one's perfect. So
Yeah. That's good, because that is important. I mean, emotions are important too. I didn't want to dismiss what you said
I
by
know.
saying that's so great, because I didn't say yours was so great. So it's good. Yeah. Anybody else?
My parents have shown me that for any relationship to work, like anything, friendship, marriage, you have to have God as your center point. Because, inevitably, you are both going to fail.
Yeah.
There will be a time when they will let you down. But if you have God in the center, someone who will never fail, someone who can be there for you, then you're going to always have strength.
Yeah. Cool. Alden, is there anything you'd like to add?
I'll say that having both parents working, and recently with Sophie, my older sister, at college, means that I have a lot of time with my younger sister, Emery, and that is teaching me patience and grace, and also just generally how to parent, how to love.
How to remain calm in tense situations.
Not always the best at that, but we're getting there.
How to say no you've had enough candy for the day, 20,000 times a day. Yeah. Last two questions that we ask everybody is, what is God currently teaching you, and what are you excited or encouraged about?
I'll start. God is currently teaching me that my sin affects others and how my sin affects others. And I think mostly that's from Regen, which is another program we do here at church. So going through that, I think, has showed me, I'm in a point in Regen where we're going through, it's called inventory. We're going through all the past stuff. You introspective look into your past and how that has affected your future.
Resentments, fears,
Yep.
sins of others against me, mine against others, etc. Yeah.
Yep. So that is what I'm learning now as I do that.
Cool. Let's keep with that one. What's God currently teaching you?
He's teaching me a lot of still what at Regen, kind of what we talk about in step 1, admit that we are powerless against our sin. We are powerless to stop it. We can't stop it on our own. I feel like getting constant reminders, I can't do this on my own. And I'm continuing to learn that I can rely on Christ constantly for all of these things that I need. And as I'm advancing through Regen, I'm really helping concrete the very beginning of where I'm started. And I feel like as I'm going through step 1, 2, 3, and now step 4, inventory, I'm kind of taking...
Admit, believe, trust, inventory. Yes.
Yep. And now we're in... Well, I've kind of moved back to working backwards through that book, kind of looking back at some things and realizing that I am powerless to fix this. I can't fix this. This isn't for me to fix. This is
in
for
some
God
ways
to fix.
that when you went through the first time, you understood sort of conceptually, but maybe not as much as you're talking about now.
Yeah, kind
Is
of
that what you
like,
mean?
oh, I need to stop worrying about this because I can fix it, or because
Right.
I can blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah.
And
That's
started
cool.
looking at it as, I cannot fix this. God, take this from me and turn it to what you need it to be to help me grow closer to you and to help me point others towards you.
Yeah.
A cool part of the program is that it builds on itself.
Yes.
And so the first step is admitting, then believing, then trusting. And so you may not always be going through the first or second steps, of course, because you'll go through it. But you will always be sinning. And so now you have a framework of how to respond to that.
Right. And so what you guys are talking about is, and one of the things I was hearing you say is understanding better in a really actually healthy way where my limits are, so that I don't have to keep worrying as I thought I had to worry, because that worry is not going to fix it in this way that I thought it did. Yeah. And you're always going through those things in life. And so what's so cool about Regen is it gives you that framework for Christian growth for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It gives a lot of tools, especially as like my next step is college. I have a lot of these tools that I've gained from Regen that are going to help me as I transition from high school to college. And I think that's going to be really beneficial. It's benefiting me a lot now.
Yeah. Good stuff. It's good to hear. What's God currently teaching you?
What I've seen in my life is that He's got a plan, and whether I see that plan or not, it's still there. And stop trying to find out that plan for myself and trying to rely on my own knowledge of situations and just giving it up to Him and following the path that He has instead of trying to make my own.
Is that trusting earlier in a way?
Yes, trusting earlier and just, not letting myself guide, really. Is just follow the path because He knows what I need.
Yeah. Cool.
Hard to give up the reins.
Very hard.
Hard to say. I'll let you lead completely. I won't have a plan B.
Right.
Especially now, when we're having to make so many of those decisions, it's hard to give up that control.
Yes. Especially since all of us are raised like from the womb to think we are in total control and should be and have a plan. And it's okay to have plans. There's nothing wrong with goals and plans. We should have goals and plans. I mean, we talked about intentionality a number of times. But yeah, that's super instructive, especially as you're going into, I was going to say adulthood, as if you're not young adults, but moving on and moving forward. Yeah, good stuff. So what are you excited or encouraged about? Jumping back into the Gospel of John on Sunday mornings?
I'm excited.
So excited.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Your next sermon, Scott? Okay, go ahead.
One big thing, which is actually the opposite what I would think, like about 6 months ago, is I'm excited for this next step and excited for the change into college.
For yourself.
For myself.
Yeah.
Because I can see it leading down a good path, and I can see myself growing tremendously within these next few years for Christ.
Cool.
I'm just excited to see what he has in store for that next chapter.
Nice. Rest of y'all? Anybody jump in? What are you excited or encouraged about?
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where he's going to take me, because I mean, like, this is it. We're going to leave our home in 8-ish months, and then that's it. We are on our own. We'll on our own for the rest of our lives. So just seeing the plans he has for me, for all of us, seeing where he's going to take us, it's just, I mean, it's exciting and stressful at the same time.
Yes.
An encouragement for me has been the youth the past couple weeks, and how, not only how many people have come, that's important and it's really cool to see, but how alive it seems, and it gives me a sense of we're leaving it better than we found it.
Solid. And you all have been a big piece of that, along with other SLT folks and people who shall remain nameless who couldn't make it today.
Yeah. Speaking of SLT, it's encouraging to see all the new people coming in, because I mean there have been so many younger people, like freshmen and sophomores, coming in and taking up the mantle, so that because we're going to leave.
Right.
It's inevitable.
And our senior class is relatively large here, especially in student leadership teams. So there was a worry for a time: are we going to have people to take over when we're gone?
Right, but you all are thinking forward for the sake of others, for the sake of the ministry, for the sake of those younger folks coming up. Like, how can we? Because you all have, and we've heard you talk about today how this has been helpful. Being a part of 180 has been so helpful for you, being a part of small group, having mentors, having people to whom you could be accountable, and community, etc. How it's been so helpful for you, helping make sure that happens for others coming behind you. Huge. I mean, it's disciple making. It's what the call is. I think that is huge for a youth ministry and for a church body to reproduce that.
A big encouragement for me is seeing the younger people at youth come in and be so intentional and on fire for God, just coming in and being like, having that connection that I wish I would have been more intentional about at their age.
Nice. Yes.
And just seeing the faith they have. It's really encouraging to see someone like a freshman, sophomore, and like sixth graders who come in and like they are on fire for Christ. Yeah. And they're ready to learn his word and ready to go down the road of Christianity. And it's really encouraging to see.
Yeah. Good stuff, y'all. Thank you for meeting. It's encouraging for me to hear. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us for Coffee Convos.